It's another case for Walter and Bunny. That's right. The famous detective duo who solve case after case in post-nuclear Vegas are in for another mystery. Brought to you by A-Bomb Radio. Today's strange story: Ghost Town Blues. In the town of Prim at about 10 p.m., Walter enters the Vicky and Vance Casino alone. The place is rife with people and commotion as it's a very busy night.
Walter!
Motley!
Sit a spell, why don't you?
Don't mind if I do.
Say, it's good to see you again. Well, what's it been? 5 years?
Seems more like 8. How have you been, old friend?
More than fine, friend, more than fine. Though it seems like I waltzed into town at a bad time. At least that's what the folks at the military checkpoint told me when I arrived. They had told me it would be a smart choice to just turn around, but I didn't walk all this way not to gamble.
Yeah, Vegas is the new Dodge. Folks are either scrambling to get out or sticking around for the next game. Exciting, ain't it?
There's a Russian state, and there's no doubt about that. The thing is, when I was traveling over here and heard about you and that girl over the radio, it only made it seem more rational to come by and see you. I can't believe I'm even sitting across from you, you old cowpoke. How have you been? How did you start all this?
Whiskey. Straight up, please.
I didn't even have enough cash to afford a passport into the Strip. Had to pull some odd jobs for them Garrett twins in Freeside. You know 'em? After that, I do some more talking at the Gomorrah Casino. Seems like everyone's either got the war on their minds or something about a car bomb that nearly killed a pair of detectives. I assumed that was you until you looked me up.
Yes, well, that's a long story. It was ours, though. The girl and I have been stuck here ever since, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. The car was a heck of a loss, but the military is working on a way to compensate us if it's even possible anymore. Thing is, we don't like being dependent so much, so I'm exploring other means of hiding or transporting our way out of this. That being a higher priority, I thought there could be more of a benefit than just reconnecting with you, aside from catching up over drinks.
Leave the bottle.
Sure.
Oh, Walter, I couldn't be any more sorry with how this ended up. You'd think the new Red Menace, the Legion, wouldn't have no quarrel with a place like Vegas. But then again, the Legion's quarrels with anything that ain't Legion. Look, I know you don't want to talk about it, but this old hobo's heart can't rest at ease until he tells you how sorry he is about what happened back home. I had no right leaving you the way I did, even if they were orders. And I know if he could see you today, your father would be so proud of you. Maybe not as the man he left the world as, but the one he used to be. The one I grew up with.
Thank you, Motley. Even after what happened at the old mission, I never had any ill will toward you. You were always honorable and a good soldier, no matter what side you fought for.
So, what is it I can do for you? The aging process rendered my eyes a little cloudy, so I'm not much of a shootist anymore, but the prospector in me is still alive and well.
Actually, that's exactly along the lines of what I was going to ask you for. What do you know about digging up gold?
Gold? I mean, gold? Well, I'd be lying if I told you I were an expert on it. Gold's kind of a salvage of the last generation, though I found me a nugget or two in my younger years. I can appraise different metals if that's what you need.
These are supposed to be solid gold bars, Motley. Stacks. In a safe somewhere I can't disclose right now. I will need an appraisal, but someone who can help locate them even more. That and your safe-cracking skills are needed. I'm not going to risk the goods by trying dynamite.
Wow! That sure is something. And you sure about this?
It's the only other place to try. I've just got to find it. I hope to heaven it's real, too, because the only other place rumored to have gold was somewhere in Appalachia, and that trip definitely isn't happening.
Search me up whenever you get the particulars, my friend. I'll be glad to help you out.
Thank you, Motley. I'm happy we can work together.
Now, we've got to catch up. Who's this girl, and where'd you meet her? Whoa, wait. Take me back to Texas. Where in the world did you run off to after we separated?
Well, it wasn't as cut and dry as a simple move. I had to lay low for a while. Then I moseyed into Carbon, and that was no picnic. About 3 years go by, and that's where the vault came in.
I think the marshals got Lenny.
Let's hope they shot him instead. For his sake.
We're gonna need a hole, Buster,
What for?
to stash the goods. What do you mean, what for, idiot? We got 3 tired nags, well, they got 20 fresh stallions. Buster, I ain't trying to sound like some old fart, but if we don't act now, they're gonna pinch us and that gold.
I know. You're right.
Then what do we do?
See that town just over the canyon? I know the madam there. She can take good care of it. And we'll lay low till this mess is yesterday's news.
Then what?
Then we come back and take it off her hands. We need to shake the tail long enough to waltz into town without looking like men with guns ain't after us. So this has got to be a quick exchange. Got it?
You got it, boss. Lead the way.
All right, boys. Just unanimous then. Let's ride! Yeah!
And just like that, the Buster Griggs gang disappeared into obscurity. And so did that gold. By the time authorities swept through town to find it, everyone was none the wiser. It would only be on her deathbed that Miss Barbara Lorette, the town's local madame, would confess that she was the last soul who possessed the safe. But she died before revealing its whereabouts. To this day, travelers and treasure hunters scour the town of Vulture, Nevada to find their fortune from the lost gold. To this day, however, it's never been found. Today's broadcast has been brought to you by Sunset Sarsaparilla. Taste the delight of a cold, refreshing beverage on a hot country's day. We now return to...
That one's been a favorite of mine for some time now. Can you believe how many times I've nearly convinced myself to go to Vulture over this?
Can you explain to me the current state of Vulture, or tell me where it is?
Ah, that's the million-cap question, my friend. You won't find it on any modern map because it was never added. Nope, not even back in the 1880s when this happened. It was just some settlement in the middle of nowhere that was never registered on a statewide scale. Blows my mind to this day.
Then how did the treasure hunters find it?
Ah, that's the tricky part. Passing through town, going to Vegas, it would only later be added to regional maps, and that's it. Funky part is, Vulture went down the drain in less than a year that this happened. So it's not like anyone cared.
Uh-huh. A town like that makes you think they'd at least install a gift shop.
Nah, too much to reconstruct by then. After a hard economic downfall, the only thing that could save them was a newfangled train station, but that didn't happen. Everyone scattered, and the rest was history.
Interesting. But, Seth, I know you didn't call me all the way down here just to tell me you came up with squat, right?
No, of course not. Any trace of a local area map is burnt to cinders by now, as you know. But hopefully you can put those Boy Scout tools to work, Camry.
We'll see about that. What do you have in mind?
Well, I had a gentleman who happened to be in search of the treasure visit me, much like yourself, 4 years ago.
He swore he's gotten so close to the lost town that he could just barely see its silhouette in the distance. Thing is, by the time that happened, a peculiar dust storm brewed up and nearly killed him. Before he and his Brahmin turned around, he left a distress pulsar in the ground, just in case he got the courage to return. I haven't heard from him since, but he luckily left behind the tracker here. Here you are.
Oh, wow, Seth. A map is one thing, but this may be even better. Those Boy Scout skills can really go to work. Guess I shouldn't ask where I might find the safe if I were to get there?
No, my boy, that's entirely up to you. But if it's true that it remained in town when passed down to Barbara, I would check behind every wall and floorboard of the town's old saloon. If not there, best would be to think like a gangster and dig up where you'd hide it. Cliffsides, caves, abandoned old mines, the sky's the limit.
Of course. I should know anyway, huh? Did the guy tell you which direction he went?
North of Vegas directly. I think the man was a failed gambler, hence his dire search for it. I'd be careful if I were you, Walter. Heaven knows we put up with all kinds of natural phenomena out here, but I've never heard of someone turning tail on a measly dust storm.
You got it, Seth. I'll be sure to cut you in on the action, one way or another.
Means a lot. Be sure to wear a poncho, young man.
I unhitched Bunny and I's Brahmin mount to provide Motley with a ride. Goodness knows how frail his bones might have gotten over the years. After that, we agreed to meet at the oh-so-seedy Atomic Wrangler Hotel and Casino to kick things off. Got everything you need? Anything essential we might have missed?
No, sir. No, sir. I may look like I require a pill or two, but the only thing that's loosened up is my skin over the years.
This ride should be a doozy, I'm told. Some sort of monster dust storms like to brew in this part of the state. Seth says some man darn near died trying to do exactly what we're doing. You sure you're still up for the task?
Well, don't waver the idea of second thoughts now, Camry. I'm in it for the long haul, and it's already risky enough trying to make it in Vegas. I'd rather have an old friend by my side attempting to strike the gold than sitting alone at some smoky slot machine. Besides, we're Legion born, you and I. That strain of toughness never leaves, you know?
It's in the blood, as they say.
We ain't even got a map. Not that I'm complaining.
Just this here distress pulsar. The closer we get, the faster it blips.
Sounds simple enough. Beats looking down at a map every 2 seconds.
And all we gotta do is head north. The only road furthest north was shadowed by 2 medium-sized cliffs that protected either side. From a certain standpoint, they can seem comforting, but from a strategic one, not so much. I couldn't help but imagine one of those fangled Legion raiding parties surprising us from above and raining fire down on us. I had to keep my head in the game, though. The distress signal pulsed about every couple of minutes, so my mind stayed focused on the rate at which it was doing so.
The Buster Griggs boys began as a family of 14, but they ended in 3, as the story goes.
What's that?
Well, I was saying that Buster's gang started out with such a fruitful life. They robbed banks, sailed seas, and lived the high life. That lasted for about a decade till the Pinkertons came about and found them in the 1880s. Then just went downhill from there.
Oh, yeah? Well, suppose that's what happens when you kick up noise for that long.
No. They could have thrived if they kept the way they were going. But then old Buster himself got into a drunken scrap with a cousin of a Washington official who took a shotgun blast to the chest. That sent the heat down, and hard. After darn near all of them were hunted like animals, Buster and his top 2 boys hatched the idea to snag the gold and hitch a ride to Australia. But I guess they never made it. since the gold was never recovered.
Or so we think.
Oh, Walter, we'll be fine. Besides, if it's the gold we don't find, the location of Vulture itself has to be worth something to the general public.
Not enough to afford what I want to get my mitts on. Well, say, do you feel that?
Is it rain, Walter?
No, it's snow. Ha! By golly, I haven't seen this substance in what seems like 1,000 years. Yep, we're definitely heading north.
Yeah, bad's it gonna get. I can take some rain, but falling ice ain't something I'm prepared for.
Up ahead, those snow-capped mountains tell the story. Those grayish clouds further down don't speak of a light fall either. We're in for a blizzard. We need to find shelter until it passes.
What does that Pip-Boy say, Walter?
There, just 3 miles ahead, there's a small unmarked structure. Let's just hope it has 4 walls and a roof.
I'm right behind you.
The first 2 miles were met with light snowfall, though it was hard on both of us and the animals. The last mile, however, was agonizing. A thick blanket of ice had covered the entire landscape, and us. Luckily, the structure had been found. A small cabin that used to be a type of getaway home for a wealthy man. You could tell it was once nice. Glass windows dominated the front, while the rest was made out of a stone so fine it could withstand the apocalypse. Pun intended. The 2 of us hitched our rides under the wooden awning and carefully approached the front door. I took the lead as both of us brandished our sidearms. We need to keep on our toes. This place is too nice to not have somebody inhabiting it.
I agree with you, Walter. Make sure to check for booby traps, ankle grabbers, tramp wires, grenade bouquets. I remember that being your weakness.
I've greatly improved, thank you. All right. Looks barren. A cozy-looking nook, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, looks right comfy. More comfy than the hotel I just rented.
I think whoever had this place up and scrammed. There's no way you could keep this place up, getting buried by blizzards every 2 days.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Really?
For sure. All any homebody in a wasteland wants to do is keep away from the dangers it has in store. What better place to stay safe from them than to hunker down in a place most folks avoid? I can name a few places like this I've holed up.
Good point. Got a few sofas and chairs lying around here. Even looks like a full kitchen up ahead. Hard to tell if this is all recent or just mildly preserved. At least we have a decent place to lie down tonight.
Walter, I think we got something here.
What is that? I see a hook. Is that the basement door?
Yep. And you smell that?
Oh, yeah. It's stale, but also fresh. Kind of difficult to pinpoint.
I'd know that smell anywhere.
You think they're withered?
In this cold, for this long, I have no doubt.
Those are some of the hardest to deal with.
We can't let 'em marinate any longer. It ain't right.
But how many are we talking here?
Average nuclear family, I reckon. 3, 4. Should be enough for us to handle. I done some cruel things back when we ran together, but there's something about this.
It's okay, Motley. I understand more than you think.
All right.
I don't see anything.
Hello? Yeah!
Motley! Back off!
Get off me! Get off me, I say! Yeah!
Motley, don't move. You okay?
Yeah. Told you these infernal things were tough.
Say what you want about your sight. That nose of yours is unmatched.
Thanks, partner. But putting these things down is the biggest respect we can bestow the old world. No one deserves this kind of undead limbo. A day as one of these varmints is one thing, but over 2 centuries. Can you imagine?
I don't think they can imagine, Motley. I suppose we...
Vulture!
Good shot. Thanks.
As you said, these are the hardest to deal with. Let's, give these a proper burial in the snow before we get back to business.
As you can tell, old Motley is a little more disturbed by ghouls than just by their looks alone. He puts a story together, who these people were, based on where they are, how old they look, etc. Maybe he sees himself in these poor saps. Someone like him, who once lived as a monster, knows there used to be a good man underneath all that horror. So, he banishes the monster in order for their true essence to be free once more. We buried the stiffs before the cold ate us alive and went back inside to make our beds out of 200-year-old sofas. The day was long and the ride was hard, so the Sandman kicked down the door hard for the both of us.
Fall back! Fall back!
Take Wildo, Septimus. I'll hold the door.
No. Wildo can find his own way in or die.
He'll make it. I know he will.
And how would you know?
You raised him.
Yes, just as I raised him to die by his enemy or his own hand. If I find out that boy's been captured for a second, he'll wish he would've.
Look, here it comes.
Make sure that boy wasn't followed through the Sandstorm.
Yes, of course. Get over here, boy. Were you followed?
No.
Good. Now get indoors. Your father and I need to make an arrangement as to how we plan to return to those in charge. Come on now.
Well, was he followed?
He says no to me.
Good. At least he can do that. What's gotten you so beat, boy? You may just be able to see the bull fly proudly for another day.
I think my leg is wounded, Father.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was running, and then I felt a sting.
Do you hear that, Magnus? A sting, he says. Oh, how I wish I could be so privileged to experience the mercy of a sting. Boy, you've been with us too long to show such disrespect. Not only have you risked our position falling behind like you did, but to complain about something so minor? Don't you ever claim you want to be like me with a track record like that.
I'm sorry, Father.
What can you tell me about what you saw back there?
All of our forces were vanquished. We managed to put up a fight with the ones that didn't wear armor, but then the big ones, the ones with the power armor, started to show up. Then our man began evaporating, along with the dust storm. That's when I fell back.
Blast it! They're coming this way, then. If only we'd known they'd deploy those steel-shelled cowards. We would have prepared for as such. Magnus, how far are we from camp?
I'm not familiar with the structure by any means, but that's a north wind we're receiving. If we continue back the way we have been, the mountains will be in sight, and the Brotherhood wouldn't dare march forward.
Good. Then that's what we'll do.
Another thing, the dust storm's dissipating. We'll need to move quickly in order to inform the Centurions of the Brotherhood and their scourge.
Indeed. We'll be off then.
The back end of this structure is blasted all to oblivion. We'll need to climb that ladder up to that platform. and make it out the window.
Looks as though we have no other option. It's not too far a fall.
Septimus, sir, shouldn't we allow Wildo up first? His leg.
Wildo understands. It's merely but a scratch. NCR worries about scratches. The Brotherhood of Steel worries about scratches. But the Legion, we forget they were even there. Now come, after me. Make a move, you two. The storm won't act as our shroud for much longer.
Hurry, Wildo.
I'm trying.
Try harder. We'll be able to patch you up at the camp.
I can't. My leg is bleeding. Ow! Ouch!
Boy, if you could run with that puny metal in your leg all the way over here, then I see no problem completing a small feat like this.
I'm trying. It's hard to move.
Ugh, can you believe this, Magnus? If it isn't one thing, it's another.
Ah!
Wildo!
I fell on my leg. I can't get up.
Hold on, Wildo. I'll find a way.
Don't!
But
Will you let the boy fight his own way out of Hades? That's how a Legionnaire is forged, dear Magnus. You've done it, I've done it, and Wildo will do it too. And if not, he'll do the right thing and end himself if he proves too slow. That way no shame he brings on his family or the bull. Now let's go.
Wildo.
Earn your salt, boy!
Father? Father! Father, don't leave me. Wait! It won't move. No! No!
In the name of Steel, we hereby order you to surrender or die. Open these doors right now. Put the knife down. Suicidal Legion crazies. There's no way he's all that's left. Young man, lay the machete down. We're not gonna hurt you if you're not gonna hurt us.
Bunny's Pit-Boy flashed 3:45 on the static green screen. I used to hear that 3 a.m. was a haunting hour, and tonight I believe it. I haven't had this nightmare in a very long time, and Motley's long overdue visit was surely the cause. I don't blame him, though. I don't blame him for any of this. You see, to be a Legion rat, you not only need to have the body and mind of a killer, but the soul to wrap it up tight. Neither of us had all the ingredients. My father, on the other hand, was corrupted inside and out. When and where beats me, but when your father one day hands you a barbarian outfit and says it's time to move, you don't exactly argue. I was nowhere near the shooter I am today, but I'm still mean with a machete. That's a skill best kept in the back pocket, as you know. Don't want the NCR to catch on and get suspicious. Sleep paralysis was a cruel mistress. As if the cabin wasn't creepy enough already, I could have sworn I saw the silhouette of my old man just to the right of me, still dressed in that Spartacus getup with his machete brandished. Was just waiting for him to raise it up and stab me right in the gut, but I managed to wake up the next morning. So perhaps he was proud to see what his son's become. Nah, not good enough.
Tune in next time for the finale of Ghost Town Blues. And now, a very special thanks to A-Bomb Radio's patrons. To Joel Jackal and Michael D. Batkew, thank you for being dear listeners. To Thomas Kane, thank you for being a fellow traveler.